Good evening, one and all. So, last night we brought you the half dovetail tenon. Tonight we need to cut the mortises for these tenons. Now obviously I have another piece I have to make to have our two cross pieces for this table. So anyway, that's what we're up to tonight. So a couple things. When you're doing these, the forstner bit works very well. I'm using the, and you don't have to, I mean, you get what you pay for in most cases, but this bit right here comes out of a set I bought for 40 bucks like 10 years ago at Blows, and I don't have any problems with this. This is sat out in the pit of despair. They've all gotten rusty from the moisture and stuff like that, but it still cuts very well. As you will see here shortly, they cut very well. So forstner bit's a must. A bevel gauge is handy. Sliding bevel gauge, there you go, terminology people, I got it right. And that's pretty much it. Your chisel, I'd like to use a 1/2-inch chisel, and we'll use our 1.5-inch timber framing chisel to clean up the sides of the mortise, or the cheeks, whatever you want to call it. So that angle is really important to get the angle right going down, because if you do not get that right, that piece is not going to lock very well. So we have our bevel gauge already set up to the same angle as what we cut. Like I said, that should be about a 22.5-degree angle. So that's what we have. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to get at it, and I'll see you on the other side of it. Now it's starting to look like a square hole, right? Or rectangular hole. Okay, to get this angle, remember how I told you guys a minute ago, use your sliding bevel gauge. And all I do when I go to start to start this angle down, I get that bevel gauge where I want it, and I just match it up with the chisel, and I check it every couple of minutes as I'm going down there, and it really helps make it a lot more accurate. When you're doing these, you want to take little bites at a time. You don't want to go nuts with it. So, couple of whacks. It's much easier than it looks. And you just keep following. Once you get about halfway down it, it gets much easier to follow that line down. Then you got to clean up the sides as you go, which that can be kind of difficult in its own right. Another thing with these, when you're relying on a tenon to lock a piece in, that you don't want much slop in there. The more slop, I mean that's what's holding your piece together. I mean, not that you want sloppy tenons to begin with, but depending on what that tenon's doing, what it's holding, sometimes you can get away with a little bit of play if you need to. I mean, if you're gonna wedge your tenon, I like them a little loose if I'm putting in wedge tenons. That way I have enough room for that thing to expand when I drive my wedges in. Alright, are you guys ready to see if we can make this thing fit? I just made a wedge, and for those of you who are astute and observant, you caught the mistake I made in last night's video, which was I cut that tenon shoulder and I didn't need to. Not that that's a big deal. So let's see if she fits. Okay, and I scraped that down a little bit because those grooves were making me crazy. A little tight. There we go. Yeah, that just slides right across. Make sure we're tight on the shoulders, because that's pretty important. Not too bad. Let's see, get this guy in there. not too bad, guys. So we'll do something a little more, we'll round that off. I may even make a different wedge. So that right there is a very strong joint. Let me get you guys a close-up. Yeah, definitely gonna round that up. Alright, there's the kind of fit we're looking for, guys. This, we're gonna do something a little different with this wedge. I don't really care for that too much. I think maybe what I'll do is make something that's the same width as this, and then we'll cut kind of its own tenon. So this right here, this is one of my favorite joints to use. It's super easy, really simple. It looks more complicated than it is. It's really not too bad at all. I think we've used it a few times. It works really well in timber frames, on tying members, stuff like that, and it works really well in stuff like this. One that's even better is like a through mortise with a through tenon, and you notch out the bottom and it sets down. The Samurai Carpenter has done quite a few projects with that particular joint in it. I don't know if he's really explained it that well or that much, but that's not bad. And she gets in there decently tight. Alright, so let's give you a bit of a rundown on this joint. We'll take it apart. If you just kind of work it back and forth a little bit and pull on that wedge at the same time, you can get it to come apart. There we go. Okay, so you have your half dovetail right there. When you go to cut this, you take your bevel gauge and you find that angle. As you're cutting down that dovetail in the mortise, as you're starting out, you get yourself a shoulder with the chisel started. As you're starting out, you just follow that bevel gauge down. You keep it lined up. And you want to check it periodically as you're going down. It's kind of important that, it's very important that this surface on that dovetail is making good contact in there, because you want that whole bottom of that mortise to engage that piece. And what that does for you, it just makes a stronger joint. So when you're, so say you only engage, say just a little bit of it. Say your angle's off and you went too far that way and you're only engaging like a ½ an inch. What's going to happen with that is if you get any kind of racking on that, it'll end up tearing that spot out right there, and then you're going to have a loose joint, and that's what you're trying to avoid. That is the trick with this type of joinery, is it's got to be a nice tight fit on that bottom. And I'm going to make a little bit of a tighter wedge. That one's not quite tight enough for what I want to do. But anyway, you hit that, and if you have that right when you drive that wedge in, this guy right here is going to get sucked right into the bottom of that mortise. It's just going to drive itself right in there. So it's a super strong joint. I highly recommend that you try it, because it's really, if I can do it, any of you can do it. This is a really simple joint to use. It's really easy to make. The mortise, I think, is what intimidates most people, but as long as you have your bevel gauge set up where you need it, that will never be a problem for you. So we're not going to get the rest of these cut tonight because I didn't get out here till late again, but that's where we're at. That's what we're looking at. And hopefully, I'm kind of really hoping to be able to put this thing together this weekend. I've been saying that for like 2 weeks, but we have another big project for the house, a cabinet project. I went and picked up materials today for it, and we're going to be using a lot of the black cherry that we have milled. I've got maple plywood. We're going to be doing a lot of revamping and a lot of remodeling stuff in the house, and a lot of it's going to involve me doing a lot of cabinet work. Cabinet work is something I truly, truly enjoy. I have some pictures up on Instagram of some of the cabinet work I've done in the past. I think the last kitchen I did's listed in there if you want to check it out. And that's the Tradesman channel on Instagram. So anyway, that's her. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one. Oh yeah, Jim Stew was the first one to notice what I did wrong there in that last video. So anyway, have a good night, guys.